Hi, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode. Today we have Ava Gervan, who is the Event and Student Engagement Coordinator here at the Center for Education Abroad. She traveled to Stockholm for a DIS conference, and she's going to recall how her love for food impacted her traveling. So keep listening if you want to hear how to taste your way through your study abroad.
Hello. So I know we're talking a little bit about food today.
Yes.
So it's just been important to me in the sense that, like, you can get so much out of food. When I grew up, my mom would say that I was the most adventurous person ever when we go out to eat and stuff. Like, I would look at the menu and I'd want to have something that I may not have had before.
You weren't like a chicken and nuggets
Oh,
type
no.
of kid.
No, I mean, I loved chicken nuggets and fries, but I was always the person who wanted to try new things, and my mom always called me the adventurous type. But it was also a little bit weird because I have a tree nut allergy, so it's not always easy to be adventurous, but you should still be adventurous in that kind of sense, I would say. I'm careful, which is good, and that obviously came into play when I was abroad. And I just love food in the sense that it can give you so much. You can really get to know a culture, or even like where you are and like how different people do different things just by how they cook and how they make different things. Like when I went to the DIS trip, I was in both Stockholm, Sweden and Copenhagen, Denmark. And, you know, the first thing you think about when you're going somewhere, especially when it is linked to food, you're like, I gotta try this one staple thing from somewhere. And everyone told me, you know, okay, what's the first thing on your mind when you think about, like, Sweden? You're like, oh, Swedish meatballs, you know? And I didn't get to try them, so I will always kick myself for that, so don't come at me for that one. But I didn't know that there were going to be, like, other things around there at the same time. I tried a lot of different things when I was there, and I said I could say I was pretty adventurous when it came to things. But I think that that's, like, the biggest thing that I will tell students when it comes to food, if they're going to come and ask me about food abroad. Don't think that you need to be eating at least maybe the same things. Obviously, we all have our own comfort foods and stuff, but when you are going somewhere, don't think that, like, you're not gonna be able to find something there, because you can find anything anywhere. I had good pizza in Copenhagen, and, like, you know, you think pizza and pasta comes from Italy, and that's where you're gonna get when you're there, but I mean, I bet you can attest, you didn't just have pizza and pasta in Italy.
I don't think I had pizza when I went to Italy.
You didn't have pizza
I didn't have
Italy?
pizza. I had a lot of pasta,
Okay,
but I didn't
okay.
have pizza, actually.
No pizza.
Yeah.
That's interesting. See, that's also...
I had
that's
good Peruvian food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, yeah, but that's where you know, you wouldn't think about that, like, off the top of your head.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand that, like, the same way in the U.S., we can find every food here, and it's very similar to what it is there. So, you know, you can try new foods that you may not have even had here in the places that you were at. The first night I think I went out, I had pasta. I had Italian food, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. It was good. Yeah. But I think trying one dish that is very close to the culture that you're going to and you're seeing is definitely a good thing you should do.
Yeah,
and you're there for a few months or maybe a few weeks or even like a week or two if you're on a short-term program. You gotta say that you gotta do it. Food is just linked to so much. You know, you can remember so much from it.
Yeah.
Like, I think if I had, this is weird bringing this back to that, but if I had a cosmic brownie right now, I would be like transported back to like when I was like probably like 5 or 6 or something having those things.
Aww,
so the taste and smell and things is just nostalgia, and a lot of that can be transferred back once you come home. You know, you can remember what you had and you eat it, or you remember you had ramen somewhere and you had it another place around here.
That's why people always bring back, like, candies or stuff. They're always like, this is the last thing I have from study abroad.
My favorite chocolate from now on, I can't get anywhere because it's not in the U.S., but it's a Kex bar. So it's spelled K-E-X.
Okay.
It's like a Kit Kat bar, but the chocolate is just so much better.
Yeah, probably.
It is like a better wafer. We were given them on the trip, and then I actually grabbed a few, like, in the airport when I came home. And it was like, it was so good. all chocolate is ruined for me because of that. But yes, bring home something from there so that like you can always remember it. And
I had the exact same thing when I went to Japan for a little while. It was literally just like matcha Kit Kat.
Okay.
But it tasted so much better, and I like almost cried when I had the last one when I was here. When I brought back, I was like, no.
I love that. Also, the first day you're there, you might be a little nervous to do. In the first couple weeks, you might be nervous, or days.
Yeah.
So you want to get that comfort that you've had. So I think it was in the hotel that first night after I got in. I got in early, so like I did go out to eat, but I was still like going back to my hotel room, and I was like nervous and like still like just kind of wanted to stay in like the comfort of like your own little room. So I bought a Twix bar like at just the hotel like gift shop thing, and the chocolate in that was different too. It was like it wasn't exactly what you were thinking about when like you think of like a Twix bar and you're thinking, oh, how does this taste? It tasted better.
Is it less sweet?
No. It was more sweet, but, like, not artificially sweet.
Oh, okay. It was like chocolate.
Yes, yeah. So, like, in a sense, like, I knew it was something that was comforting to me that I got, but in a different way it was better. So, I don't know why, like, it was interesting to see that, but I think food can be connected to, like, so much in any memory or anything moving forward.
So, when you were in Stockholm, because you had a host family there.
I did, right? Yes.
Was there anything you noticed, not just about what you were eating, but the culture of food, like in your host family or outside when you were eating by yourself? Is there anything that, because people eat differently, but you have like different cultures around it. Was there anything that you noticed?
I'll go back to kind of when I said that first night I went out to eat by myself, and I went out to this Italian restaurant in Stockholm, and I was by myself, so, I got seated right away. Like, I went to this place, I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. They had the host right there, and they were out. I went up to her, and I'm like, do I need a reservation? I don't know what's going on. And she's like, oh, yeah, like how many are in your party? I'm like, oh, it's just me. And she's like, oh, yeah, we can seat you right away. When, I saw other people getting turned away because I was like, they had groups. So I was like, oh, interesting. So I sat in, and the culture in, like, eating in a restaurant is definitely different, I would say. There's more community when it comes to things. I was looking around, and I was probably one of the only people who were sitting by themselves. So a little self-conscious about that, but that's okay.
It always happens.
I know, but I was totally fine with it, like just kind of seeing how the culture is and how everyone else was. I was by myself. I didn't really need to do anything.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I wanted to be on my phone because I didn't know if it would be like rude of me to do that or not. So everyone else around was, they were talking and they were laughing and having a great time. And, like the waiter only came by at least to my table like once or twice. So that's why I was also like, is it paid differently? I don't know what's going on. So
no, I think American waiters are like, the tipping things is a little different.
Oh yeah, tipping. That's also the other thing. I'm like, I don't know if I should tip. I did just because I didn't know at the time. I'm like, they don't really do tips there. But it was interesting because like it was very communal. People were talking and having a good time, and I think it was like a Saturday. It was a Saturday night, so people were out and doing stuff. So I was a little self-conscious about being like by myself since they are very communal and community-based. I also saw that when I was with my host family, they picked me up the first day, so it was like a Sunday, and as soon as I got there, they like were preparing a snack lunch thing for me. So cheese and bread and biscuits and jam and like basically a huge charcuterie board with just like so much fruit and things.
That's so cute.
Sweden has a saying, and it's fika. So it's like, I'm totally going to get this wrong, but it's like where you take time out of your day in the middle of the day to just be relaxed and like have a great time with your friends and your family and like that community space. And that's where you have like coffee and stuff. I had so much coffee when I was there. But that's basically what they did when they first picked me up. And it was really nice to kind of just like sit and have a great conversation with this family that lives in the suburbs right outside of Stockholm. And it was so beautiful. It was nice. It was like 60 degrees, and we sat on their porch and we talked and we had food. And then like an hour or two later, we had dinner. So I'm like, wow, a lot of food. But even like dinner too, the whole family pitches in when it comes to it.
Everyone does their part.
Yep, they all were like baking and making the food together. Here in the U.S., a lot of the times it's like the woman's job to do food or something. Not saying all the time, but I did see like my host father was cooking a lot, but they all were cooking together. That's so cool. that was really interesting to see, and just like the food that they made was great.
What they make?
So the first night, what did we have? They made 3 different things because I was there for 3 nights with them. Okay, so the first night we had eggplant lasagna. And
that sounds so good.
I've never had eggplant before. So most of these meals maybe not have been like super native to like Sweden or Scandinavia, but I never had them before. So it was so cool for me to go there, try something new that necessarily wasn't like specifically from there, but I just like that was the biggest thing that I took away from this. The eggplant lasagna was great. I loved it.
Great.
It was so good. Yeah.
I love eggplant.
And like they have wine with their dinner, but I had a lot of sparkling water there.
I can't stand sparkling water.
We talked about sparkling water and the differences, and I'm like, it's alright. Yeah. It's interesting when you try to buy it and you don't realize it's sparkling water because it's in a different language. That's annoying, but it's okay. But the communal aspect of that, like we all sat and we were eating and we were having a good time and like talking about our days, and they were obviously asking me so much about the U.S. and Rochester, and they've only been to the U.S. like once. So it was interesting to kind of like, like talk about my time. And they wanted to hear about mine as much as I wanted to hear about theirs. The second night we had, they made this casserole that was like with smoked salmon. And I love salmon, but I've never had smoked salmon before. And it was really good.
I never had like a salmon casserole.
Yeah, it was interesting. I will say that there were still like bones in the salmon. So I was getting those a few times, but it's okay. I picked it out. We survived. I mean, I told them about my allergy too, so they were very conscious about that. So that was nice to kind of see. Yeah. And then the last night, I think they made a roasted chicken or something for us because some more people from the DIS trip were also coming home.
They cooked for everyone?
Well, not everyone. There was another attendee that was with me in the host family, so it was 2 of us that were staying with them. Mm-hmm. I think there was about like 4 or 5 other people that came home with us.
Okay, that's like pretty.
Yeah, for that last day. So it was like a bigger event. They laid out like cheese and wines for us before, and we had that before we even had the dinner. So it was nice to kind of have more of a communal aspect. Yeah. Like it was getting late, and they were like, we gotta go. Like half of them had to leave because they had to go back to their place because we were also leaving for Copenhagen in the morning. You know, you lose track of time a little bit. Yeah. I also will say the one thing that I do remember the most is the sister in the host family. She's about 18 years old. She made this chocolate sticky cake for us. Mm-hmm. And it was so good, and I could tell she was like nervous to give it to us. She like apparently worked on it all day.
Oh my god.
And it was so good. It was like the best chocolate cake I've ever had. Really? I make it all the time now.
Like home. Here?
Back home. Yep. Mm-hmm. I make it here, and my family likes it too, so I'm like, I bring a little bit of Sweden back home with me. I love the communal aspect. You know, it makes you think about what I see back home in the U.S. and stuff. You know, you could still see a little bit of a communal aspect when you're going out and like seeing families out in restaurants and stuff, but it's not uncommon to see people, you know, by themselves eating out.
Oh,
and
definitely.
I think in Stockholm and what I saw, it was a little bit less common to see someone by themselves, which is not, I mean, I don't know if it's a bad thing or if it's a good thing, whatever you want to do.
This is a difference.
But yeah, so I think I've been at least sparked to go out with friends more or have that communal like dinner after work where I'm like tired and like, I don't want to just be like alone all the time when that because of what I went through, but yeah, it was, I think they really do have that community aspect, which I really love.
I think that's, you were saying before that you don't know if the dishes they made were traditionally Swedish, but I think it's so cool that you got a little peek into like this random Swedish family's life of what they eat. Yeah. But when you were talking, I mean, you talked about fika a little bit. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
No, that's right. Fika,
okay. Yeah. But you said it was just like normally when people take a little bit of time in the day to like relax and be present in the moment. Yeah. Do you think that it's linked to food? Like, do you think it's usually like over some snacks, over coffee, stuff like that?
Yeah, they do link it to food all the time. In the few days that I was in Stockholm and like seeing how like the DIS students were taking their time in class, the professors were like, yeah, we have fika today, we have coffee and sweets and stuff. A lot of the times they have cardamom buns. I don't know if you know what those are.
No.
I actually didn't have one.
Okay.
I wish I did, but again, with my allergy, I didn't want to test the waters too much.
Yeah.
I don't think it did have tree nuts, but that's a big thing. Like there is cardamom buns. I do want to make some when I'm here just to try it, just to see what I missed out on. So now I can go back and try them. But it is very much linked to food. You know, like taking that time to just relax and not have again, that community aspect. You
Yeah.
want to get to know the people that you're around and have those good relationships, and you do it over coffee and some snacks. And the amount of coffee I had, again, was astronomical, and I'm even more addicted to coffee because of it. But I talked about this, is when I drink my coffee, I used to love a lot of cream and sugar. You know, I like my pumpkin spice lattes and stuff where there's a lot to it. But when I was there, you know, I had a lot of like minimal stuff. I only had a little bit of like cream and like maybe not even any sugar in it. And it was
like straight coffee.
Basically straight coffee with a like I can't do black coffee. I actually did a few times and it wasn't bad.
Okay.
But like a little bit of cream and it was really good. I felt like I could drink it, and it was just kind of seeing that and the different change. And when I came back, I steer away a little bit more from those like really sweet drinks, I would say.
Yeah.
It's kind of changed.
Very American drinks.
Yeah, but the coffee over there was really good too. I don't know what kind of coffee I was getting because I was always getting it from like
I've heard that
professors
coffee.
or something, but they were good. Coffee was really good, and I had a lot. I will also say, I think this is funny. I tried to get Fanta as much as I could when I was there.
Oh, does it taste different?
It tastes so
really
much better there than it does here. Like, I'm not a big orange soda fan, and I don't drink Fanta here a lot, but I got Fanta a lot.
It tasted that good?
It was so good. It's just like, it felt a little bit more like natural for some reason.
I think it is.
The color was not the bright orange that you get over here.
I think we use a chemical here that we shouldn't.
Yeah, we probably do, but it was really good. Again, I didn't drink it like a ton, but every time that I went out to a restaurant with some other people, they'd be like, and it was on the menu, I'm like, I'm getting Fanta. I want that, please. Thank you.
That's awesome. You mentioned that you make the chocolate sticky cake and stuff. I remember, because you talked to me about this before, you also mentioned that they give you a cookbook.
Yep.
Does that kind of change the way you eat here? Like, did your study abroad experience affect that at all?
Yeah. I will say that when I grew up, and just growing up, I loved to bake. And then I talked a little bit about how food's important to me, and I love to bake food, I love to cook food. I kind of lost that a lot when I was growing up, just in college years, and then even like after, you know, there's just other priorities that sometimes you don't get to do that. I think since being over there and getting that experience and just seeing how much effort, and not even like a lot of effort, just like the effortlessness that they do to just bake on their own and cook and stuff, it has sparked that love for baking and cooking a lot more in me, to be a little bit more adventurous when I'm making something at home. And I try to turn to that cookbook a lot. I love it. I make the chocolate sticky cake all the time now. Like I said, my family loves it. My boyfriend loves it. I made it for his birthday this past year. Like, he loves it. I will make it on the whim. It's not even that hard to make. But I love that cookbook. I think it's just a little bit of a thing to give to people, as in like something to bring back with them that's so meaningful. Because the whole cookbook was made from students' recipes and professors and faculty recipes.
Oh, it was like personal recipes.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
So
I thought it was like a generic cookbook.
No, it was one that DIS made specifically. So you can kind of get to know the people that made them when they were making those recipes. So it's really cool, and like they're broken down by like, there is a section for fika, and there's a section for like traditional dinner and stuff. I haven't checked yet. There might be Swedish meatballs in there that I should try to make.
You gotta make them.
I will make them. You know, they have the cardamom bun recipes in there. They have cinnamon bun recipe in there. They have like so much. It's just so meaningful to like get that, instead of just being like, oh, I'm gonna look up some recipe online. But I always turn to that cookbook now. I bake a lot more, and just like seeing that, especially that love that the host sister had to like put in that effort to make that chocolate sticky cake. And
be nervous about it, that if you're gonna like it or not.
Exactly. And like now I do that, and I'm like, not comparing, but I'm like, whenever I make it, I think back to like my time in Stockholm and in Sweden. And I'm just so happy that that trip was able to spark that love in me again, even though it was such a short trip. It has impacted me so much, and I think that can happen with anything that a student can go abroad, and they could get their love back for writing or reading or just like sitting around and going in nature. But it also, you could pick up some new things that you never knew you could do. You know, studying abroad is just so amazing and can give you such great experiences that like, why not give it a shot and see what happens.
Thank you so much, Ava. You made me super hungry. But that was, I feel like I literally just got a taste of your entire study abroad.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm so happy I was able to give you the taste.
I want to go to Stockholm now.
You have to go to Stockholm. I will want to go back too. I need to try those Swedish meatballs. So.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.